Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da ba ba dum dun 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 bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba ba dum dun 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 ba dun 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 bum ba da dun 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 ba dun 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 bum ba dum bum bum bum. Hello, my friends. So good to see everyone. I love when everyone starts coming in early, and I see you. Hi, Harry. Hi, Leanne. Hi, I saw someone else that I knew. A couple people I saw in Joette's Mighty members. Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie from Ann Arbor. So nice to see you here. Yeah, Pat, the allergic course is amazing. Thank you. Nice to see you here too. Hi. And then we've got Western Australia? I think it's Western Australia and Ajax, Ontario. I just love it. Hi, Rana. Or maybe it's Rona. Maybe it's Rona. Hi, Rona from Ajax. Such a great name for a town, Ajax. I always thought about naming a dog Ajax. Either that or Felix. Love those names. Those short names. Hello, my friends. Here we are. Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It's what we do every Monday night. My name is Joette Calabrese, for those of you who don't know me, and I do one thing and one thing only, and that is I teach you on Monday nights how to use homeopathy the best way that I know how. And let me also tell you, I've been doing this a long time. I'm trying to distill it for you. I don't want you to make, hi Bob and Deb, I don't want you to make the same mistake I did, and that is go through years and years of classical study, learning how to use one medicine, the simillimum, the one and only perfect medicine for the whole picture. I want you to not have to go through what I went through. It was grueling. It was painstaking. And I finally came to the idea that there are protocols, that there's more than one medicine that we can use. We don't use 50 medicines. We don't even use 10 medicines. We use in one schedule for someone like ourselves or family members or whatever. We use a few medicines that cover a number of conditions, because there's no such thing, my friends, as someone with one condition or three conditions that all fit together in one medicine. When it happens, hey, I'm happy to accept that. But my friends, that is not the way life is today. Nor has it been like that for a very long time. So I want to save you the trouble of going to another place to learn how to use homeopathy and find one medicine and one medicine only, how to apply classical method, because our dear leader, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, did not use the word classical. He did not. That was not in his vocabulary. It is a fairly new word, 50 years old. Now look, I'm not going to tell you that if you've got a classical homeopath that you're working with and that person's helping you with, stay with that person. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's dangerous. I'm not saying it's not useful. I'm telling you that as a student of homeopathy, as many of you are, I urge you not to go down that path, because it may take you a long time for me to pull you back out of that rabbit hole. It's very, very complex, and the results are, unless someone is an expert homeopath, and they do exist, it is a difficult path for someone who's trying to treat their family or even their patients if you're a medical doctor or a physical therapist, etc., or your clients if you're lay practitioners. So welcome, my friends. Welcome, Mighties. Welcome, my Facebook friends. Please remember to like and share. and comment and subscribe. We're on YouTube and Rumble and X and what else? And Facebook, of course, and my dearest mighty members. So tonight, I'm going to hold up this little infographic. This is something that we put together quite some time ago, and it's got our little Lola. We call her Lola because originally Lola was drawn by someone on our team whose name was Lola, so we called her Lola. So what we're doing is what I want to teach you is that here are some conditions. Forgetfulness, worry, right? Brain fog. Brain fog can come as a result of worry. Intellectual fatigue. These can all be associated together. Temper tantrums. Smoking addiction or addictions in general, but we're just going to talk, I'm just going to point this one out tonight. Anxiety, grief, and deviousness. Those are just a few of the conditions that are psychological, emotional, mental conditions that I cover in my course titled Mindful Homeopathy that we are launching again starting, I believe it's tomorrow, and there will be a link in today. I think Nathalie's going to be putting the link up so that you know how to take a look at that. And if you already have this course, it's an online course of mine, my friends, I urge you to do it again, to use it again. You don't have to pay extra. You own it. Might as well use it again and start from the first slide and go all the way through. And don't do it once, my friends. Don't even take the course twice. Again, you own it. Might as well use it, right? Not even 3 times. Take it 4 times, my friends. For those of you who own this. If you don't own it, then you might want to look at what we're going to be putting up today. There'll be a link, and then you'll be able to take a look at that course, because many people don't realize that homeopathy deals with psychological, emotional, mental conditions, as well as head injuries and acne and irritable bowel syndrome and shin splints, etc. So I want to say hello to more. Hi, Beverly in Tennessee, and Lynn. Hi from Montana. Good evening from Connecticut, says Iris. Hi. Hi, Barbara. Oh, dear Barbara. I miss talking with you, Barbara. You bet. And hi from Ontario. Lots of Ontarians. Hi from Singapore, says Yana. I see you every week. And Montana and Connecticut and Charleston, South Carolina. It's great to see everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight, my friends. Now let us talk. Let's talk, shall we? I think one of the things that I talked about when I promoted tonight's little discussion was anxiety. Now, there are a number of medicines that we can use for anxiety. But I'm going to give you the top ones, and many of you already know them, but you might find that when you use this medicine, it helps a little bit, but perhaps not enough. Or it did help and it's no longer helping. Or it never helped and you have to move on. I don't want those of you who are new to believe there's only one medicine for each condition. It's not the way this works. There's one main medicine that we can often count on, that in about 80 to 85% of cases of someone suffering from that particular condition, such as anxiety, this is the medicine that will act. Oh, you have to excuse me. I never get reflux, but tonight is really strange, and I think it's because, I'll show you what I took, and maybe you guys tell me. I know what to take, but I love to hear from you too. I had some of this water buffalo whole milk. I couldn't resist it. It said, grazing is amazing. It's completely pasture-raised water buffalo whole milk. It was delicious, and it had a lot of cream on the top. You can see the cream still sticking to the top. I didn't have a whole glass. I just had some of it in my coffee, and boy, I can feel it. And that's not like me. I can eat just about anything and not have any trouble at all. So those of you who are, yes, thank you very much, Pamela and Carrie and Pulsatilla, Nat Foss, Lycopodium, and Irisville. Look at you guys. You apparently are my students. Have taken good gut, bad gut. You bet. Absolutely. Let's see what else everybody else says. Nat Foss 30. Yes, pulsatilla. You got it. Boy, you are right on the ball. Let's see. Now, those are my mighties. Let's see what everyone else is saying. What you think that I should be taking tonight for this little bit of reflex. It's not horrible. And to be honest, Nat Foss. Bovista, Tina. Oh, you're so right, Bovista. Yeah, Bovista's for dairy intolerance. And it doesn't have to be a cow. It could be a water buffalo. Too funny. Nat Foss. And I'm going to tell you, I think all of these are incredible. Pulsatilla, Nat Foss, Pulsatilla, Nux vomica. Now, look, let me tell you, Nux vomica is a great medicine for me. I think I told you last time I used that, felt as though I was getting something in the chest, and I took a couple doses, and it was gone. Athusa says, Mary, yeah, because of food or dairy intolerance. You're absolutely right. Very, very smart people. I love being around smart people. No one here was wrong. Every one of you is right. And what that means is that it's a good demonstration of how we have more than one medicine for a condition. Now, will I take Nat Foss, Pulsatilla, Athusa, Bovista? What were some of the other really good ones? Lycopodium, Iris vera? No, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take any of these. Why will I not take any of those medicines? I will tell you why. Because it's not that bad. And it won't keep me from sleeping. And I'm not really suffering. So I take it with a grain of salt. Oh, look at this. Jennifer says, Nat Foss 6 plus Arnica 3, says Joe De Lavera. I know. Dear Joe De Lavera. And Lycopodium. Oh, yeah, because Carrie says it's not a pathology. It really isn't much of a pathology. You're absolutely right. It's not that bad, says Francine. You're absolutely right. That's why I'm not going to take anything for it tonight. Now, if it happened to keep me up, or if it went into tomorrow and it kept me from feeling comfortable, I felt nauseous or something like that, I don't feel that. But it really is just reflux and kind of an acidic taste. That gives you not a pathology. Yeah, you guys are great. You are curious minds, and it is really important that you stay thick into that way of thinking. Curious minds. Okay, let's get back to this. Speaking of mind and mindful homeopathy. So anxiety, as I said, the Banerjees tell us, but they're not the only ones. We have learned this through other clinically evidenced information that makes it clear to us that when we're using a protocol, it's not 100%. Nothing, my friends, is 100%, right? Nothing. But we also know that if someone has grief and it's an overwhelm and worry, but especially and sleeplessness, inability to be able to let go. And it's often a medicine more for a woman. A man can be, we can give this to a man, but it's a little bit more for a woman, that we're going to be thinking of Ignatia 200. Could we use a 6? Certainly. Could we use a 30? Yes, indeed we could. I prefer Ignatia 200 twice daily until better. How long is better? Usually we see a change in a couple of days, and then we halt the use of the medicine. We stop because we are done, likely. But what if we're not done? What if we find out that after not having used it for another day or so, that it's coming back again? Then we reinstate and we use it again in the same fashion. Do we use the same potency? Do we use the same frequency? You bet we do, because, my friends, we do not tinker with success. When we have used a medicine that is working, we stay with it until it's resolved a good amount, which is often, even for a chronic condition such as worry or anxiety, even for that, it can often be resolved in very short order. And if it goes away and we halt the use, which is what should be done, we don't take these medicines forevermore, generally speaking. There are circumstances, but they are more on the rare side than not. We take them for a short period of time, test out the waters, see how if it's balanced. Is it improving? Yes, it's pretty much improved. Is it 100%? No, it might not be 100%. Can we be happy with a removal of anxiety by 90%? Do we want perfection? No, we don't. And I will tell you why we don't want perfection. We can't expect that, but we have to leave a certain percentage of it, my friends, for us to take care of ourselves besides the guidance of the remedies. It's important that we learn, what if it's milk that's causing anxiety? It does happen, my friends. It's more frequent than you might imagine. What if what we really need to do is get outside and walk barefoot on the beach? What if it means that we need to be praying a little bit more? What if it means that we need to get more sleep, that we need to get offline? We have to leave, to be honest, a little percentage of that for us to make those changes in our life as well. The remedy will meet us where we are, and it's up to us to also take full responsibility for what else what might need to be addressed. Maybe we feel guilty about something. Maybe we feel unsure about something. Maybe we need to make certain that that person in our family knows that that last discussion was not, you did not intend it to be so heated. That you do value them. So leave some room, my friends, when it comes to these psychological issues, to be addressed by you and your own behavior. Aurum and Argentum nitricum. Lois, you're absolutely right. Aurum metallicum is also an excellent medicine for anxiety. And it usually fits a little differently than Ignatia does. It fits with someone who has a lot of responsibility. They might feel burned out. They might feel as though they're just, there's a deep sadness. There may even be depression. A lack of motivation. Have taken on too much responsibility. Yeah, I bet raw milk would be fine and not cause anxiety. Let me point this out, Lisa. I think that I love that you said that, but there are still people, even with raw milk, and I think raw milk is superior to most foods found on earth. But some people still have anxiety as a result of even raw milk, until they can fix that homeopathically, and then they should add in the raw milk. All of those changes, Joette, in eliminating toxic people from our lives that are drivers of trauma and stress, you're absolutely right, Danielle. Absolutely. Yeah, listen to this, what Tina says. Lac humanum helped me with enforcing boundaries, and Staphysagria helps with suppressed anger. You're absolutely right. So the anxiety might be there, and it's from suppressed anger. And how do you determine that? Because you're working at a job and someone, let's say your boss, is belittling you or has belittled you, and you're holding on to it, and it still feels really, really awful. What remedy did she say for burnout? Burnout, my friends, can be Ignatia. It can be Aurum especially. But what other medicine is there? What other medicine is there for burnout? I know you're going to come up with this. Hi from Bangladesh. Thank you very much, Adam. Phosphoric acidum. Phosphoric acid. Not phosphorus. This is different. It's phosphoric acid, or phosphoricum acidum. Latin and English. Phosphoricum acidum for burnout. But here comes Vita, who says sepia is for burnout. Vita, you're absolutely right, but that's a certain kind of burnout. It's a burnout of a mom, a mother who is just overwhelmed by her responsibilities to her children. And how about Nux vomica, says Dolly. Love that name. Nux vomica for overwork. For overwork, too much in the head, working at the computer all day long. Again, a lot of responsibility. A person who is living the life that is so representative of the world in which we live today. that is too much of everything. Too much water, buffalo, whole milk, maybe too much coffee, too many stimulating foods, too much stimulation in general. Cigarettes, smoking cigarettes, drinking too much alcohol. So good. You guys have got this. Now look, I don't want to give you so many choices that your head is spinning, but I want you to know specific medicines for specific conditions. And there's a lot of overlap, my friends. Sepia can sneak into Ignatia. Ignatia can seep into sepia. That's why when you decide to use these medicines, and if you decide to take this course, if you don't already have it, and again, parenthetically, if you have it, get back to it and study it again, my friends. Get back to this course, Mindful Homeopathy. We need it. We all need it. And I want you to know, just like what people are coming up with now, I want you to know the answers. Because when the time comes that something is heavy on you, your spouse, your child, your elderly mother, your father, your neighbor, your church mate, your friends, your homeschooling group member, I want you to know right away. You see someone dragging and feeling depressed and overwhelmed, too much responsibility. They may not use those words, but you know what they're doing in their lives. You know how much is hinging on them, and they know how much is hinging on them. Then you think automatically, could it be aurum metallicum? Could it be gold, homeopathic gold? And so I want you to think about these medicines and have them eventually. If you're new to this, don't feel overwhelmed. You'll get it. Just like you got how to ride a bike, just the way you got to the point being able to drive a car. At first it seems overwhelming, and then it isn't. Look at this. We the Free, love that title. Is Alberta where you live, or is Alberta your name? Calculus and or coffea for insomnia from night watching, especially nursing others dealing with this now. My dear friend, let me tell you, calculus, Cocculus, calculus is incredible for when you are the night watcher. What is a night watcher? You're the one who's up at night taking care of the loved one, your elderly father who needs you by his side, your child who is sick, who's coughing at night, needs you by her side. And yet you are not getting the sleep you need, and you're feeling overwhelmed, and it's just too much. Calculus. Calculus 30, calculus 200, twice a day for a few days. See how it works. How about when foster kids are placed with us? They're overwhelmed, scared, anxious. Where would be the best place to start? That is a very good question, Nikki. I'm so delighted that you have fostered kids. It depends. Were the children abused? And a lot of times you don't find that out. I know I've worked with many foster children and families who take in children and adopt children. You don't know if they've been abused. If they have been abused, I want you to look at, don't just use the medicine, go to a Materia Medica. You can use my Materia Medica. You can use free Materia Medicas online. Go to Materia Medica and read up on Staphysagria. Absolutely. Staphysagria is often a medicine that is for children who have been adopted, especially from third world countries where we have no idea how bad it could be. But hey, we're no exception in this country. Children are often taken advantage of. Shall we say it like that? Because of their age, their innocence, their size. Yes, Leanne says, calculus is amazing for that. And then Argentum nitricum, another very, very good medicine. We don't talk about it that much. It is a common one. It's not at the very top, but it's about the second or third level down. You bet. Now, sepia is very specific. You can use sepia. Let me say parenthetically, you can use sepia for a man. But when it comes to someone who's overwhelmed by children and having just had a baby, etc. Obviously, that is a woman. And so it's a very hormonal remedy. It's a remedy for mothers who feel absolutely burned out by their responsibility to their children. They adore their children, but they also might want to just get out of the house, which, by the way, is not a bad idea. Let me tell you, my friends, if you're feeling overwhelmed by your children, have the oldest one watch them for a while, call a neighbor, and get out. Go for a walk. If you live in the north, go for a nice, crisp air walk and get your head thinking straight, and perhaps sepia is still useful. Alrighty, what else do we have? Yes, for boundaries and belittling, has said someone, and I think she's talking about Staphylococcus aureus. And it could also be lacumanum. All of these medicines I would use either in a 30 or a 200, and I would use them twice daily. But please, my friends, promise me something. Promise me that you won't just watch tonight and say, oh, this is probably the medicine. That sounds good enough, without reading up on it. Please do that. You need to build your understanding of homeopathy. You need to be certain that it's the right medicine. Will it do harm if you use the wrong medicine in a 30 or a 200 twice a day for a few days? No. No, my friends, it will not. But what if you believe that this is the right medicine and you use this medicine twice daily every day for 6 months and you're not seeing a change? That's the wrong medicine, and it can cause a proving. Generally, provings, I've never seen a proving that's dangerous. Some report that it can be occasionally. It's if the person who is using the medicine is using it judiciously, then that will not happen. Amy says, what about a stressed out mom? All right, clue number 1, my friends. Clue number 1, a stressed out mom. We just said it, right? With PCOS, hormonal, my friends, and migraines. Is not sepia one of our best medicines for headaches? So, my friends, I love that, yes. Again, Amy, Tara says, replying to Amy, look at sepia. Not take sepia. You see how careful Tara is? Don't take it. Look at it. Study it in your Materia Medica and read up on it. How about fear of flying? Yeah. I do find aconitum is really great for fear of flying, but there is a AAA medicine that I think Helios sells, Helios, Helios. They're out of England, and I think it's called AAA, and they use a combination of 3 medicines for fear of flying. I believe it's aconitum, argentum nitricum, maybe it's arsenicum. I can't remember the 3rd medicine. Yeah, how about needing to let go or purge old pain from family treating you mean verbally? Yeah, and let me also say, my friends, that a big part of getting past psychological problems is to just let it go, too. Use the medicine if you need to, if it is a pathology, if you're really suffering. But to be honest, I want you to take your concerns, your sufferings in your stride. Take it in your stride. We don't want to become our pathologies. We don't want to become, we don't want to label ourselves as I'm anxious or my anxiety or my fears. Don't own them. Just leave them behind you and move on to the next stage in your life if you possibly can. If you can't and you're stuck, this is where medicines come in, homeopathic medicines. Anxious for stage, my friends, what do we have anxious? I know you all are going to know this. It's so good. Yep. Anxious before exams. Aconitum can work. It's not the first one I'm thinking of. You bet. You bet. Gelsemium, my friends. Gelsemium. Good, Nancy. Very nice. Very nice. Gelsemium is usually ailments anxiety for forthcoming events. I got to go to the dentist on Friday, and it's Thursday afternoon. I have to go. Gelsemium. I've got to be on stage on Saturday night. I don't know if I can do this. I have to perform in that chorus for the Christmas carols this Sunday afternoon. I'm so anxious. Gelsemium. You bet. What about an autistic who has trouble controlling his body, being very anxious about controlling his impulse to touch others when in public? Could it be Argentum nitricum is asking, Dee Dee is asking. Anxiety about being in public is the way I would look at that. Anxiety about being with others. If you have, my friends, a repertory, a homeopathic repertory, that's a good way to go with this. If you don't, then by all means, this course covers all of this. So you decide should you be interested. This mindful homeopathy course that we are relaunching tomorrow is something that I really wish you would consider looking into. Yes, autistic is complex. But let me also say this, my friends. Anxiety is anxiety, no matter whether or not it's in an autistic adult, an autistic child, in a person who runs the head, is a CEO of a company, still anxiety. So we're looking at how that person is suffering from it. It doesn't mean we're not going to work with the fact that this person has autism, because this course covers autism. It's very specific in this course. Do download this. You'll see it available there. Download this infographic so you can get started and start looking at it. Should you decide never to take a course from me, it is absolutely just fine with me. But what I do want to know is that you're studying and you're moving ahead. You're studying the blog, or you're studying these Monday night lives, or you're at least in a study group, Gateway to Homeopathy study group. And if you don't know what to do and you don't know where to go and what to learn, go to Joette's Learning Center. Joette's, no apostrophe. Joette's Learning Center. I am not my feelings, says Lisa. They are not factual. Beautiful. Nicely done, Lisa. My friends, wonderful to see you all. I have to dash off, teach another class. God bless you all. Mwah. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas.
With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athuzanodary, it's elementary, with arnica head, arsenicum fed, spigelia slither, orms from wither, no more. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Belisol red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica bonicum, let it melt on your gumbo, beast to weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athuzanodary, it's elementary, with arnica head, arsenicum fed, spigelia slither, orms from wither, no more. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Bella so red and arnica hedgerow, Sarah bark, Ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calicum, bonicum, let it melt on your gumbo, vista weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies.